Testing, testing, 1, 2, testing, 1, 2, testing, 1, 2, 3, 4. Testing, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is Ralph Hayes. This is, Testing, testing, 1, 2, testing, 1, 2, testing, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, this is Reality Check. It's Reality Check coming to you from Spleen Squeezins. If you give me just a second here, I'm trying to adjust the volume on this. Okay, our ambient background is provided tonight by www.ambient-mixer.com. This is their blend. It's called Chinatown. What can I say? I like rainy days. And this is Spleen Squeezins. If you're in the audience, please say something, because so lonely without you. Let's see here. Let me pull up. Going to open IRC and let everybody know the channel is live. Every program under the sun wanted to update all at the same time. I'm so sick of this. Later. Busy chewing my dinner here. Just give me a second. Alright. Popping open the windows, popping open the programs, deciding that this ambient sound mix is really annoying. Hello, YouTuber 1752, pleased to meet you. This audio just isn't really. I don't know. The Chinatown blend sounds interesting on the surface, but when you try and listen to it, it's Let's see here. Let's try New York Rain. I'm getting these backgrounds from ambientmixer.com. This is, yep. There's no one single solid, one single volume control for it. Holy crap. I have to turn everything down manually one track at a time. Hey, oh, you. I guess. I'm trying. I've been poking around these blends. Cafe. Oh, great. Sorry about that. I'm trying to get some ambience. I'm trying to get some ambience here, so that you don't hear just empty. The crowd in the background is what's getting me. That's what it's. And that's the problem with it. Can't think. I'll find something here. I'd love to find the volume control for the whole thing. You can see here. You can see here by watching what I'm doing here that yeah, you can see here. There's no one single volume control. That's the killer. No idea what these do. Welcome to a summer porch in the country. Now, anyway, last broadcast has got another copyright challenge on it. Well, this one just has one. I'm saying is, yet again, one of my broadcasts has gotten a copyright challenge on it. And yet again, I have to label it and send in a challenge saying, yet again, that I did not use copyrighted materials. I used ambient mixes, these audio ambient mixes here. It's, I really want to punch somebody. You have to be it takes a certain kind of greedy little weasel to set this kind of thing up. You know what I'm saying? Copyright. This is the whole problem with the copyright system. It consists of you sitting around waiting and hoping that somebody else will trip up and you can sue them. Terrible. All right. Well, so you're going. This is. We have an audience of 1 at the moment. YouTuber 1752, aka Booger. Booger. Gonna be fun to have a name like that. Just walk into a room and say, "Hello, I'm Booger." They say, Casey Kasem. You know Casey Kasem, that wholesome guy from American Top 40. Everybody knows him. And he's been on the radio for like decades, all the way back to the Sock Hop 50s. And he had this wholesome image, right? Very, very wholesome. But people that knew him, Casey Kasem, he had apparently, when he wasn't on the radio, he had a mouth like a sewer. He did. They had clips. I've heard clips that were taken when he thought the microphone was off, and he would be trying to read from a script, and they'd say cut, and he'd just go right on. He just make up a trucker blush kind of language. And it's so shocking to hear it in that zoink shaggy voice. I remember when the song by what's her name came out. Bitch. I'm a bitch. I'm a lover. I'm a child. I'm a mother. You know the one. I remember hearing him. It was on the top 40, and I remember tuning in. Casey. I mean, that had to be a dream. His lifelong dream. Because you could hear it. He said the name of the song like he was savoring it, crossing his lips. He said, and now, the new number by whatever her name was. Number 15 on our countdown. Bitch. I like to pee myself every time he announced it. Oh, man. Anyway, let's see here. Let's see, got a page in progress. Try and start that up. Oh, actually, I'm going to start up this one, too. And there is now there's about a foot of held up on the car across the street. And that's the most impressive. You know, it's nothing like it is in Boston right now, for crying out loud. Nothing. I can't even get pizza delivered today. They canceled trash pickup. Pizza places are shut down. I checked out. You know, I wanted to see if I could order in dinner, and I'm wondering if I'm going to be able to get out tomorrow because you know, in this roundabout we go, no telling. Between the ice and the foot deep snow, well, it's probably about 3 or 4 inch. Oh, well, I'm exaggerating a bit here, but it's seriously deep out there. And if it's over a layer of ice, I'm probably gonna have to call the health clinic tomorrow and tell them to change my appointment to Monday or something, just so they can let the ground defrost and let everybody out. Drinking too much Monster energy drink. This is my 3rd can today. This is my 2nd can of Monster today, I think. Maybe my 3rd. Getting too much. I've taken to drinking if I drink a can of Monster, I'll drink a can of Sierra Mist along with it. You know, to thin it down a little bit. Now, look, I know Justin Bieber has grown into a jerk. From a few of the stories I've heard, at least, some of the things he's done, and I'm like, okay, this kid. I mean, what were we expecting? This kid literally made more money by the age of 15 than the rest of us will see in the rest of our lives. And he would walk, a teenage kid walks out on a stage, a million screaming pubescent teenage girls. You know, what were they expecting? And worse, the people that handled him. it's the same story every time. They discover some talented kid someplace, right? They snap them up. They throw them on the treadmill, and they do their and then the next thing you know, this kid is surrounded by like a cocoon of human bodies. People are primping and preening them and scheduling them and protecting them from everything. Sometimes even their own parents, and well, this happens. The situation with the power bill is, I would like to announce, very well settled. Okay, I've made a payment schedule arrangement with them, and thanks to several donations that came in recently, it's covered. I'm keeping a very close eye on everything, though. Got the money, stuffed away in a sock in a back vault in the bank, as it were. And I'm just going to stick to the payment schedule that they gave me, so it prevents any crises. Pardon. Excuse me. Let's see, we got 3 people watching according to this. Jonathan Kruger, Cartoon Glutton, and YouTuber, also known as Booger. I've been watching Torchwood on Netflix. I don't know. I don't know. British thing. Just this. I get this sort of bleak outlook from it. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. On some level, it's like I don't know. I mean, it's apparently all I can figure is that these people have been working on Doctor Who for years, and they kept it, more or less family friendly. No excessive gore or anything. And now they're working good, and they're like, it's like. And all the American TV viewers are going, "Oh, these guys are so cute," because these people are they're like they're turned 13 and discovered their own genitals or something. Because first couple episodes, look, we're humping, Pay attention to us. And anybody who's been on the internet for more than 2 years, oh, aren't you precious, Really, I mean, come on, guys, come on. Let's see, out of I think I've viewed 5 episodes so far. They have had one ending that wasn't tragic in some fashion or other. let's see, the first with the Torchwood employee turning out to be suicide. The second one, dozens of men die because this alien sex predator thing literally sucks all the life out of them and turns them into into piles of dust. Then there's the episode with the fairies where the little girl goes and again more people die. There was the Cyberwoman episode where the Cyberwoman and so does an innocent pizza girl and also the doctor that was trying to save her life. She kills him real good and dead. And the most recent one is the episode where they discover this tribe of cannibals living out in the middle of England. Like, wow, these people desperately need something. I don't know, therapy, Ritalin, a beer, something. Heavy alcohol abuse, anything at this point. And of course they have Captain Jack Harkness, the immortal Team Bicycle. He's omnisexual. We're edgy. We're edgy. Yeah. Look at us. You're really not going to impress somebody like me with that kind of crap. You know what I'm saying? You just can't. There's no way. Look, you can shock, offend, and annoy people with that kind of stuff. You can lose audience. Because they'll turn off the TV and go find something else to do. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're on BBC. You're counting on the fact that the people in your country have no freedom of choice. Well, they don't. Let's be honest here. Great Britain might as well be, might as well just name itself East Berlin too. They reached a point where, the government owns, the television broadcasting and radio broadcasting. They can't turn around and spit. They have to ask Big Daddy government if they have permission to go wee-wee. It's really sad. I like to Lost My Mind. They got to an episode. They were like two or three episodes in. They've been dealing with rip your face off monsters and stuff. And Jack Harkness takes their new recruit and tells her, "Oh well, you need to learn to use these." And he pulls out an array of guns. And she's all shocked and horrified. Of course, she's British, but she's a cop. She's a police detective. She's not a police. I forget what her rank was, but she was a police officer and she didn't know how to use a gun. It's small wonder that London is 4 times as dangerous as the Bronx. No lie, you are 4 times more likely to be violently mugged. I mean, just beaten near to death and robbed in London than you are in New York City. All the New Yorkers are going, we can beat that. You know. It's really sad. I don't care if cops in England don't care. I don't care if cops in Great Britain don't carry guns normally. A cadet should at least know how to handle one. They should know gun safety, the works. But they don't, and it's that should be a source of embarrassment to any police force that your people are incapable of doing something like that. Spectre box, I don't know if I'm going to be able to find that darn. I forget which one it was. Not Cogstribe, it's close. Creeper 2. Dragon 2. Yes, I believe it was Elf. No, it wasn't. No idea what that was about. This is going to take forever to figure out. interesting. Bush tree, leaves, boom boom, bullet belt. Blood scribe, block scribe. It's not it either. Day, bomb, start, bomb, scribe, beetles. Oh, somebody's clever. Ha ha ha. It's not it either. Worm. It's different at least. I'm going to have to pick through these one at a time until I find the one I'm looking for. Tube scribe. Very interesting. Tree line. Instant trees. There you go. Toto brush. That's nothing in particular. Thing. I was walking down the beach one bright and sunny day. Spied myself a wooden box a-floating in the bay. I pulled it in and opened it up and to my surprise, I discovered it right before my eyes. I discovered it right before my eyes. I picked it up and took it in as happy as a king. I took it to a fellow I knew who'd buy most anything. I was shocked when I walked in his shop. He said, "Whoa, get out of here with that before I call a cop." Remember that one, that's snake clasp. It's not it either. Come on. Don't know what that is. It's not it either. It's there's one in particular I'm looking for. I can't find it. Some interesting scale type things here, though. It's interesting. Segmented snake, they call that one. Sable grass line, rough line, roots, rings, ribbon line, pyramid, puff, power, hard. Go to noise tube? No. Nodules? No. Hear my wonder wall. There we go. That's not it either. Maru. Just another one. I don't know why they do that one. Machine wall. Cook. J-pit. I don't know what they're thinking of. Hollow Scribe, I believe, was a... Scribe, I believe, is the one I'm looking for. gloss to put right there. I want some decoration around the hull, but I'm not. Let's see. There's always some little detail that you run up against. This should be ground into children at an early age. Come down where you have some of those 200-300 cookies a piece. Beating my head against a brick wall here, trying to figure out what it is it needs. Until I get that straightened out, and what I can do with it. So let's do for a second. I'm getting a little weary, getting a little groggy. Take a little minute to sit and chat for a minute. Try and get the juices flowing again. Hmm. I'm feeling disturbingly erect here. Wind out. Worked out. Want a candle to burn. Out of fuses. But I am determined to not stop until death strike. I'm determined. Oh, dang. Oh man, can't think straight. Hmm. I'm not asleep. I'm just a little dozy. Cut my tongue on something. I think I burned it or something. It's always fun. Fur. Well, technically, yeah, it could probably work. Grumpy Haylock. Particle size, there we go. I want to get across the idea that their ship is ornate inside, despite its appearance on the outside. If I could figure out how to make the line taper. Starting and ending. Here we go. Here we go. I'm still stumped. I'm looking at this and I'm trying to figure out how to do it and nothing's coming through my brain. I reached a point where I'm just butting my head against a brick wall here. I'm just going to stop tampering with the image. Just go straight to the text. Alright. Oh yeah, one more thing I gotta do here. It's getting a trifle chilly in here. Okay, let's get this ball rolling. Let's get some conversation going here. Let's get some talking doing. You got any questions? Anything you'd like to talk about? Any topics you want to hit on? Anything like that? See, text. Technobabble, throw words like and chronal in there and sounds so scientific. Give me a second to draw these balloons. I'm going to check the channel and see if you have anything to say. We'll go from there. Here we go. Oh, when is the Space Ranger going to be updated? I don't know. Like he says, I've got the probability bomb. Everybody's waiting for that. They're waiting for it to be written, printed, and mailed to them. Some with signatures. So. I can't say this ambient environment is really, doing it for me, Okay. Layers. Merge layers. Oh yeah, I just read it on the channel. He apparently crashed a World War II era plane in some golf course. That is so Indiana Jones. These word balloons, they're tidier, but they don't look as good. They don't. They cover up more area, and it's very difficult to get them to look right. I don't know. I don't know. I gotta think that one over. You know. Let's see. It is serious. The temperature is seriously starting to drop here. I am dressed in sweats, and I've got a heater going right next to me, and I'm getting chilly. Nasty weather. Al Gore had been through town stumping for global warming or something. Seriously, this has got to be one of the most, God's got to be having a practical joke on Al Gore or something, seriously, because literally everywhere that Al Gore and the environmentalists have gone, I mean, they went on a trip to some South American country, and a freak cold front blew in. I'm like, okay, if there was ever people God was trying to send a message to, but no, they're not going to pick up on it. No, they're never going to pick up on it. Come on. I mean, what can you say to these people? You point out that the temperatures have been dropping. Look, one of the first things out of their mouth, you point out that it's freezing outside and that blizzards are hitting all over the world. I mean, last winter, England basically disappeared under a snow front for several months, and this year America is just getting buried. And you point out that weather and climate aren't the same. Yes, that's technically, arguably, arbitrarily true. That coincidental weather is not the same thing as climate. But then you point out, then you have to look at them and say, the temperature has been dropping. The average temperatures, even with their screwed up measuring techniques, the evidence has been coming in. The temperature has been dropping for the 15 years. And every winter has been colder than the last. When are we allowed to start saying that the weather is the climate? At what point are we allowed to say that? Do we have their permission yet? Or do we have to wait until glaciers cover Ohio again? The chain of suppositions is just terrible. First of all, have to, the whole anthropocentric climate change argument is this. 1, they have to prove the climate is changing. 2, they have to prove that it is man's fault. 3, they have to prove that we can do anything within reasonable human ability to reverse it or to change it. 4, they have to prove that the climate they want is the one that it's supposed to be. 5, they have to prove that the climate change is a bad thing. And they've done none of these. I mean, let's start with the last one. Climate has changed again and again over the past, over all of human history and all of the history of the world. It's going, far more dramatically in the past than it has today. As in grapes growing in Scotland and glaciers covering most of the northern states of modern day America. And which do you want? Do you want warm, balmy Mediterranean climate like they had during the medieval warming period and the Olduvai warming period and several the Bronze Age warming period? Those periods, by the way, were instrumental in huge surges forward in civilization, in the growth of man into modern nations and civilization. Because it really sucks trying to survive in a frozen planet. They're saying the planet's getting warmer, the planet's getting warmer. And I say, go for it. If we had a lick of sense, we'd all be going, yeah, let's crank the temperature up here. Let's see if we can't get some. Let's say if we can't get some tropical territory growing here. Oh, but there will be deserts, and actually, it's the cold cycles that contribute the most to the spread of the deserts, because during the extreme cold periods like the ice ages and the little ice, all the water was locked up in the glaciers. It was flowing north and south away from the equator and falling as snow up in the cold regions and freezing there and staying there, drying out the rest of the planet. Historically speaking, warm cycles have been a boon for mankind and for the planet. Of course, scientific understanding, betterment of mankind is not their goal. The goal of these movements have always been the same. Find something wrong, find something, claim that it's something wrong, blame it on man, profit. Do you realize how many millions of dollars people have made off of these off the global warming hype this time around? There are going to be people who freeze to death this winter wearing the last of their Stop Global Warming t-shirts, trying to stay warm. They'll be found cocooned in climate change bric-a-brac and swag from the last Mother Earth parade. No, I did it wrong. Darn it. I put it in the blog instead of in the... darn it. I have no idea how to move it out of the blog. I have no idea how to do that. Oh, well, whoops. Teaching me to pay attention to what I'm doing. The overall temperature charts have been going down for 15 years worldwide. And that's terrible. And that's even with all the things they've done with their measurements. The shoddy methods they've been using. They have these these little weather data stations they plant all over the planet, right? They have barometers and thermometers and weather vane and all that little stuff packed into a box, and they stick it on a pole or up a tree or something and leave it to record for several. And they go by every month or so and download the data. The thing of it is that most of these weather instruments, most of these data boxes, have not been moved in years or even decades. Some of them started out planted out in the middle of the wilderness or on the edge of a small town, and the town grew around them. They've got there's one website showed photographs of these these little observatory boxes. Dozens of them, hundreds of them, planted right next to asphalt highways. Standing, stuck up on top of tar-roofed buildings in the middle of a city. You get the picture. That was half the problem right there. What's really bad is they had one that was stuck up on I believe it was a police department building wall, right above where they held their right above where they held their annual barbecue. The smoke from the barbecue was blowing right up into this machine. Some poor guy's downloading this data. Where'd they station this thing? The outskirts of hell? Actually, Florida would do just as well as anywhere else. Look, you live on a planet where the climate and the environment is changing consistently. If the climate was not changing, that would be a danger sign. One of the first things we studied in biology class, in science, was as a kid, was how, for instance, a river goes through a life cycle. You get a small river. You get a little river bed. It turns into a lake. But the sediment then fills it up. It turns into a pond. It turns into a marsh. It turns into a bog, and then it turns into and then the river cuts back through it, and it's just a riverbank again. No. All the talk about global warming, they don't know a thing. In fact, most of the things they assume would happen have historically not been the case during a warming period on the planet. We've got people who can't predict the weather 24 hours ahead, making proclamations about what the climate is going to be like 100 years from now. And it's garbage, because it's made under a bunch of demonstrably false assumptions about what affects climate and what changes it. The fact that the climate alarmists have been caught faking data and conspiring to fake data doesn't help matters. You know about the hockey stick chart, right? That was the infamous chart that showed, the Earth over thousands and thousands of years with fairly level temperatures, and then along comes civilization and humanity, and the temperature sort of curves and goes straight up like the end of a hockey stick. They looked at that program that collated all that data and produced that chart. You could put in completely random numbers and it would still draw a hockey stick. You could put in the secret formula for Dr. Pepper and it would still draw a hockey stick. The measurements of the winners of the last 15 Miss America contest, hockey stick, it wouldn't matter. They faked it. They tinkered with the program until it drew the chart they wanted. And the people the people working for the United Nations, who were supposed to be doing all this research, they caught them burying information. They literally caught emails of them talking back and forth. How do we hide this data about the medieval warming period and about the Little Ice Age and all these other, all these fairly recent, historically speaking, periods where the climate, where man was not polluting, he simply couldn't, and yet the climate changed dramatically. And they were sitting around trying to, collaborating on how to lie to the world about this information so that they could keep getting funding and so that they could keep influencing policies and politics and laws. There are actual human beings who have been impoverished by these people living on this planet right now who have lost out because these decided that their wishful thinking agenda was more important than the truth. These people have caused injury, poverty, sickness, and even death with their advocacies. The key example of environmentalism killing people is the DDT ban. The world had nearly wiped out malaria. We came this close to sending malaria the way of polio. But they blocked the use of DDT. Why? Because an angry and bitter cancer patient, who was also a radical, wrote a book called Silent Spring and convinced everybody that DDT was giving everybody cancer and killing all the little birdies. And they went and they looked at the evidence. There was no evidence. The courts even said, they sat down, they had a whole trial, they had a whole hearing and everything, and the judges said there's no evidence of this. There's zero evidence of any of these claims, but we're banning it anyway. And ta-da! And then the government was pushed into telling third world countries, get rid of that DDT or we'll cut off our financial aid to you. Ta-da! Malaria made a comeback and millions of men, women, and little children died. Because environmentalists thought their noble, high-minded cause was more important than the truth. I don't know how to go back in and change the page. I really don't. I have no idea how to get the thing, to update the image in the files yet. I have to sit down with Daniel and figure that out. I can change the main file of the page, pull up the page that is going to be going into the book and fix it, but I can do. Otherwise. Leo, well, I'm not quite sure how to do it properly. I don't know the ins and outs quite yet. I have to sit down, talk with Daniel Meyer, figure out how to update an old image with a new image and get the page updated and everything all changed at the same time. I'm not quite savvy to it. It's not FTP, or if it is, I don't know how it works. I don't know how it works. I'm the artist. I draw the picture and write the words and use the shiny program, put it on the internet. I don't know nothing. Why you ask me these things? I'm gonna do that every time I don't know what the heck I'm talking about. I don't know that. Gonna see how long it takes to offend somebody. Look, if you're offended by me, I've reached a point where I've decided that most people who are offended by me deserve to be. Really? I mean, they had some guy flying an American flag on his property, and now they're open about it now. They say they came up to him recently and told him to take his flag down because it was offending the Muslims in the neighborhood. Now, if there is somebody in my neighborhood offended by my American flag, well, congratulations, target detected. Anybody who's offended by the American flag in flying in an American neighborhood in front of an American house, thank you for self-identifying. We know who the enemy is now. Really, to think about it. People that are offended, many of the things I believe in, if there are people who are offended by them, thank you so much for informing me that you are somebody we need to watch out for. If you're offended by my American flag, you deserve to be. If you're offended by my church, by my faith, by my beliefs, you fine. Thank you for speaking up. You have let us know who it is we shouldn't give a rat's ass about. It's time to start offending some people. I aim to misbehave. That's me just blowing corn chips out of my keyboard here. Little crumbs and stuff. I haven't had corn chips in days. I don't know. Get that crusty. Now you'd think by now they would have designed a keyboard that you could pull apart and shake. Shake out. No. They can't keep up with this stuff. Well, anyway. Good night. Good night, Booger. Booger. Yeah. My dad, that first episode of WKRP in Cincinnati, Johnny Fever. It was basically, the birth of Johnny Fever. Originally, Johnny was a washed-up DJ. He'd been bounced from job to job because at his first job he had said booger over the airwaves, and everybody had gotten freaked out and offended and got him fired. And that and he had ended up at WKRP, the bottom of the barrel, and he was stuck playing these old geezer music on the radio, and he was half comatose from his job. And the new guy came in and gave him his stack of rock and roll records back and said, go to it. And right in the middle of the song, time for that music to change, he grabs it and drags that needle across the record. And he just cuts loose with his Johnny Fever persona. He says, all right, cats and kitties, time for some rock and roll. And he slaps on, I forget what song, what album it was. I think it was like Kiss or something. And, oh, by the way, everybody, Booger! I think, or that one episode of Roseanne, the local housing association, homeowners association, sent them a letter. We are please asking everybody to use simple white lights and modest decorations, and blah 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 blah, and just the evil across Dan and Roseanne's faces. Oh, we'll do that for them. And at the end of the episode, they come out and they go out onto the, okay, everybody, it's time to light the lights. And everybody puts on sunglasses and goes outdoors, and he turns on, like, he's got like a huge white Klieg lights all over the place. And Roseanne's mother is that what are those three wise men doing? They're supposed to be adoring the baby Jesus, not leering at Mrs. Claus. Oh, well, they can't help it. She's wearing one of those buns outfits. Well, yeah. People, you got these idiots who buy cheap land near an airport and then send noise complaints in, or they buy property downwind from a farm and register complaints about that. And just so many kinds of miserable, wretched human beings out there. Let's just say it. Let's just say it. I may go ahead and call Hell South and tell them I'm shut in for tomorrow. Yeah, in fact, I think I will. Let's see here. They're a 24-hour place. They got residents and stuff, so they probably it's Momofuku Ando. Oh, the inventor of ramen noodles, I believe. Let's find out. Open them up there. Find out that. South scandal? Oh. Oh my. Apparently somebody was trying to let's see if I can contact. Let's find their number here. Here we go. Okay, excuse me just for a second, guys. I gotta make a quick phone call. Ouch. Cramping around. And that takes care of that. Of course, legs tomorrow to see if they, how well they were doing, but yeah, Momofuku Andu. He's one of the inventors of instant noodles and cup noodles. Yay. Bow to your sensei, college student. Bow to your sensei! Burn a candle in memory of his honorable passing. Yes. I know, I'm just full of beans. I know what. Okay, yeah. Ugh, itchy. Ugh. Crunchy too. Ugh. Listen, it's bad. I mean, it's seriously bad enough when, Domino's is shut down. They're not picking up the trash, and they're not picking up the Domino's, and they're not delivering the Domino's, and I don't know what the story is with the mail, but just nothing. So, I'm not even going to try and drive tomorrow, because I figure it's going to be at least the middle of the day before they get all the salt laid out and the plows out and get things cleared. Yeah, well, the thing of it is that it's going to be revealed in the next couple of pages, narrative voiceover, that the Dracon nation is sort of an uncomfortable rival with the Empire of the Seven Systems. Among other things, the Dracons are while the Empire of Seven System is vegetarian, at least in certain areas, particularly concerning government regulation, individual autonomy, private property, that sort of thing. They're still pretty deep in the statist conservative state of mind, where they don't approve of anything that doesn't have 15 government safety stamps on it. Very bureaucratic, very licensed, and consequently a bit resentful of the Empire of the Seven Systems, because con people cross the border, to get their cigarettes and medication and non-state health care. And the Empire of the Seven Systems is irritated with all their tariffs and restrictions on trade. The Dracons are irritated with the Rakonans for all their, they see and perceive the Empire of Seven Systems as reckless. Among other things, the Dracons are really uptight about research into time travel. regardless of what the scientists have to say about the safety thereof, it is heavily restricted and outlawed in the Dracon Empire to be mucking around with time, which is proving a problem for them as they expand further out and realize that time isn't exactly a nice, flat, uniform plateau out in the universe. It's, well, a bit rumply out there. Anyway, no, the Dracons are Canada. The ESS is, well, basically America, what America used to be. A free society. Well, you got two sides of it. It depends on who you talk to and what the circumstances are. I hear a lot of Canadians getting all sorts of grief from the border guard, from the American border guards, over the stupidest things. And yet, at the same time, you've got people from Canada who are choking to death on regulations, literally choking to death on regulations that they're taking medical tourism down to America. Just so they can get treatments that government health care is not providing. And, well, you get the idea. The idea of living in a society like the Empire of Seven Systems gives the Dracons the fainting fits, you know. And now they've just found... they just found Quentin's ship is carrying a large chunk of what they consider highly dangerous contraband. Namely, an object or objects that have been pulled forcibly back or forth through time. What they don't know is, one, said object is actually a living person. Two, said object is quantum linked to the captain of the ship. And three, the person they have just abducted onto their ship has what you might consider a hysterically violent knee-jerk reaction to anything that looks like a dragon. Remember how he flipped out when he woke up on an operating table on board the Intrepid? Now imagine him waking up, looking up, and seeing dragons looking down at him. It's sort of rehashing the same joke over again, but it seemed sort of inevitable. Anyway. I don't think it's even going to get that far. Okay, uh, uh, the players in this game, you've got the mad scientist who's trying to set off the probability bomb. You've got opportunists who want to get their meat hooks onto what might be a potential super weapon. You have militant Darwinists who want this guy to succeed. You have militant fanatics of various cults and religions that want him to fail. This story could get a lot bigger than initially intended. I'm trying to sort of mentally assemble the story here. Got one ship full of dragons. I've still got to draw several more characters in from the archives, and let's see. Then I got a ship full of canids. Look, it is safe to assume that, in general, even with a big mixing bowl civilization, people regardless are generally going to congregate with those with whom they have something in common, which means it would not be very unusual to see Quentin's ship with a wide variety of alien races on board it would be a lot more unusual than a ship full of all reptilian races, or a ship full of all feline races, or feline-like races, or so on and so forth. There are things such as simple biological needs. For instance, you're not going to see too many air breathers on a ship flown by fish. But also, certain psychological needs, certain social norms. For example, back when the original Planet of the Apes was being made, there were 3 different kinds of costumes they used for that movie. 3 different kinds of apes. Chimpanzee, gorilla, and orangutan. And a sociologist made a surprising discovery, looking at cast photos and such of behind the scenes footage, that kind of thing. In the cafeteria, even though the people who were wearing the costumes, underneath the masks, it was all different races, black, white, Chinese, didn't matter. But he noticed that the people in the orangutan costumes tended to go sit at the tables with the other orangutans. The people in the chimpanzee costumes went to sit with the chimpanzees. The people with the tended to sit with those in the same costume, so on and so forth. And of course the humans without the costumes all sat together too. It's very interesting. It's just that we tend to, it's not good, it's not evil, it's not racism or anything. It's just that we tend to gravitate towards the familiar. We are more comfortable around those who are similar to ourselves and whom we have a reason to believe have something in common with us. So, I don't see that this would be any different in a futuristic society. The Star Wars portrayal of all these different alien races bumping elbows at the same bar, you would see that at trade ports, places like that. But for the most part, the various races would tend to live, they would balkanize, they would tend to form, Chinatowns, Spanish Harlems, that kind of thing, of their own volition. Because they would have language and culture and diet and what constituted a comfortable climate. I don't know if I don't think I have anything up to. Let me see here. Anything? Here, let me shut off BattleNet. That might be it. That might help. I don't know. Tell me if it keeps doing it. But as fun and entertaining as the Star Wars Cantina was, it's a very, very unlikely scenario. And to be honest, I've succumbed to it. The trope, and you see even in the supposedly human town. Back when Quentin was in the Duchy of Fenwick, I threw in various alien races, but I tried to justify it by the fact that they were a crossroads for several trade routes. I'll be honest with you guys. I don't know whether it's the weather or what, but I just want to curl up in a ball right now. I feel frustrated, isolated, tired. It's I don't know why. I just get this this feeling of I don't know, frustration. To the Seven World Gob. I have no idea what you mean by gob. Frankly, the starship, what we've seen of civilization, there's the Empire of the Seven Systems, because it is so libertarian, would tend to attract people who are trying to, well, slip the noose of their own more restrictive societies. That's the reason there were so many different cultures on board the Sapphire Star, and it would probably extend to a lesser degree to the planets and systems of the Empire, because other cultures and other civilizations would have laws and licensings and restrictions and traditions that. Well, this is why America attracts so many immigrants, because even as wrecked as we are now, we are just about the freest society on the planet. And don't tell me about like Great Britain or Canada. Can you go out and carry a gun without playing Mother May I with the government? In most of America, you can. So, if you can't pick up a weapon that makes a politician sweat, it's a pretty good measure that you're not in a free country. At least not as free as you think you are. Like I said earlier, I've been watching a couple episodes of Torchwood. And I just could not believe that. Okay, they had the main character, the audience POV character is a policewoman who gets tangled up and ends up joining Torchwood. And it wasn't until the third episode that Captain Jack took her aside and informed her that she needed to learn how to use a gun. And I was like, she's a police officer. In fact, she's a ranking police officer. She's not a rookie. The idea. If anybody here, anybody in the audience is listening is not from America, you have to understand this is a paradigm shift for y'all, because to an American, the idea of a police officer getting a badge without knowing how to use a gun, it's comedy. It's ridiculous. It's ludicrous. I mean, even Barney Fife carried a gun and one bullet. And he was a complete goober. Of course, it was a sitcom, which was the idea. But still, the idea of a police officer without a gun, gee, I can't imagine why your crime rate is so high. England. Seriously, you're 4 times more likely to be mugged in London than you are in the streets of New York City. That's just sad. Passing thought. You remember when the Tea Party first came out? A lot of the politicians, a lot of the snottier left-wing celebrities started referring to them as teabaggers. Do you know what teabagging is? Don't you? If you've played an arcade game, if you played an online Memorpage, you know what teabagging is. I don't think they really thought through the implications of calling us teabaggers, because who's going to be getting teabagged in this relationship? Think about it. Dang, I mean, what's it like to be as stupid as a liberal? Harbinger? You won't get shot in Great Britain. You'll just be stabbed to death or beaten to death. Don't talk to me. You're not free. If you can't pick, you've got innocent men in jail right now in your country who were thrown there because they used a gun to fight off a robber. No, just mouths closed, ears open. We figured out it was a mess back in 1776. Okay, we left en masse from your country centuries ago, and you're not exactly improving with age. Great Britain looks great on a postcard, but the numbers are against you. The actual facts on the ground are radically different. You're not a free state. You're just very, very polite about being government property. Did that offend you? Good. It was supposed to be offensive. People being subjects state should be offensive, and it should offend anyone to be reminded of it. This is why I said this last time. Don't call us the colonies. This is a word of advice to anybody from Great Britain. Do not call America the colonies in front of an American. Not unless you want a fight. If you do it in front of the wrong one, you might end up with an actual fist in your face. Because we regard that as an insult. Take it to the bank. I forget which of you said, "Oh, it was meant as a compliment." Well, let me clue you in. You don't call a black man a nigger. You don't call a Chinaman a chink. And you don't call an American a colonist. You are not, England is not our loving, benevolent, matriarchal empire that patted us on the head and sent us on the way. No, we kicked your butts. Twice. And then we came back while you were in the old folks' home and bailed you out of 2 wars. No. The relationship of empire to colony is long over. And it is offensive and insulting, and it's fighting words to an American to subject them to that kind of implication. Don't do it. whether the tyrant state is polite to you when it pulls a gun on you and loots your pockets, or whether it beats you over the head before it rifles through them, you're still a subject. You're still a slave. As Terry Pratchett noted in his book, Interesting Times. They transported. The story had Rincewind the Wizard end up in the equivalent of Imperial China. And at first, Rincewind looked around. He couldn't understand. There was, he thought this was going to be some sort of slave empire. And he looks around and he doesn't see any chains or anything. And then he watches as a peasant is summarily executed. I believe he watches as a peasant is summarily executed by one of the samurai. Just his head lopped off right there on the spot. The guy doesn't even try to run. He doesn't fight. He doesn't struggle. He just meekly bows down and Rincewind realizes that they've evolved to the next level of a slave state, where you don't even have to see the chains to be wearing them. And that's one of the running points of that story, is that they are so used to the peasants obediently walking straight into their doom, that Rincewind keeps catching them by surprise, because they don't even realize what he's doing when he takes his time, stretches his leg, and drops down into a sprinter's stance before taking off and leaving them standing there in the dust, sometimes leaving his sandals behind him. It's possible to be a slave and not realize it until it's too late. To be so acclimated. This is the reason that most of the social justice warrior nonsense manages to keep what traction it has, is because there is a kernel of truth to the fact that you can be subjected to dismal treatment for so long that you no longer realize that that's just status quo. You don't even realize it takes an effort to take a step back and realize that no, the only reason there isn't a pistol whipping going on is because up to this point you've meekly gone along. If the British people got sand up their arse the way Americans do when their government gets out of hand, I guarantee you things would get a lot more testy. Everything's remained fairly bloodless in jolly old England, because the noose has tightened slowly and everybody has politely stood there while they did it. Okay, it is 9 o'clock. I think I'm going to go ahead and call it. I'm feeling a little bit and I'm feeling kind of cold, which is making it slow to move. And I'm just sort of grinding my gears here. So I'm going to call it a night. Sorry, it's kind of short. I've got to dig around. I've got to find more meat for this. Okay, I will see you all tomorrow night, 6 p.m. We'll pick up where I left off. I'm going to try and start getting a storyline charted out. See if I can't get this a little more organized and sort out these names a little better. But for now, I'll see you. Catch you tomorrow night at 6. Good night.